Hire a ton. This is how Achilles greeted his friends Odysseus and Ajax when they came to his barracks, sent by Agamemnon, to persuade him to return to the battlefield. Odysseus replied, "Hire Achilles." This is a greeting in the Albanian language that can otherwise be said for good news, things, we are meeting. Achilles said, "Hire of ours or hire of all, for the good of all." Odysseus answered, "Hire Achilles, for good Achilles." In ancient times, people, during their daily lives, carefully observed various natural and human phenomena. And with a stunning fantasy they managed to create mythological figures, which at first glance, without deep thought, look like fantasy children. Only a serious study manages to highlight the stunning beauty of these mythological figures. Who were the creators of this mythology? This mythology was created by the oldest inhabitants of the Balkan Peninsula. The Pelasgians and the Albanians are their direct descendants. This will become clear when we show the true meaning of the names of mythological figures. In a logical and natural way, we will see that only through the Albanian language it becomes clear that these figures embody the phenomena of our daily life. And not only that, naturally and simply take their names and their actions. Here we will be based on the works of Homer and Hesiod. I must clarify that the Iliad, the Odyssey, of Homer and Theogony, Erga, of Hesiod are works created about 2,800 years ago. And at that time the sentences were written inseparably. Pronounce of words at that time we do not know, but if we start from the fact that they are Albanian, it follows that their correct pronunciation can be found based on the Albanian language. On the other hand, the grammatical rules of that time are very different from today's rules, however in some cases they correspond to today's rules of the Albanian language. Let us first look at the figure of Zeus. The figure of Zeus is the main figure in mythology. Various scholars known from all over the world explain the origin of the name Zeus from the Indian god of the sky Dios. So widespread is this theory that even in various paintings we see Zeus and his wife Hera with Indian features. We will show that these theories are as absurd as they are linguistic. In the Iliad we have, Song 16, line 233, Achilles addresses Zeus. Sovereign Zeus, Dodonic and Pelasgic, you who live far away and Dodona protects. In the works of Homer and Hesiod for Zeus we have two names, D and Zo. And both of these words are words of the Albanian language. Dino means deep, supreme knower of nature, everything. Zu has several meanings: voice, start, something from scratch, catch, an animal, settle in a place. And if we look at the works of Homer and Hesiod, we also have different forms of D or Ze. Dia, or for Zeus we have Zu, Zin, Zini. Ze and D are both nouns and verbs. Ze, Zin, or in the northern dialect we have Za, Zani, is the name. And in the works of Homer and Hesiod we have both forms as names and as verbs, and this in the form that the Albanian language has. This means that they are pure Albanian words. But the fullest meaning of these names is D or Zul, also give the various epithets used in the works of Homer and Hesiod. We have these epithets: Nephilogerita Zeus, Zeus ipsa Remedish or Matayata Zo. Then we have Diachroniona, Agiokoio Diash, Dieter Picarano, Hypermedia Chroniona. These are epithets that complement, better explain, the figure of Zeus. Zeus was the smartest, most intelligent figure of all the deities of Olympus. This is reflected in the epithets, Diachroniona Mataiadazo, Hypermedia Chroniona of Agiokoio Dios. Hypermedia Chroniona, Hypermenja, hypermind is an epithet, Cronus superintelligent. Diachroniona, the son of Cronus, as it seems from the form, is Albanian. Dia el son is missing L for the simple reason that in Albanian we have dial, son, dial, devil. In order not to create misunderstandings, dia el is written without L, and it is understood that it is the boy. But dia also has the meaning knowledge, so diachroniona can also be translated as the knowledgeable Cronus. As we see in both cases in the Albanian language, it makes sense. Let's look at Agiokoio Dios. The official translation is Zeus of Aegis, although the name Zeus does not. Is written. Now what is Aegis? If you look at their explanations, they say that the Aegis was the shield of Zeus. This shield was made with the skin of the deity Amalthea. But who was Amalthea? Amalthea, a mountain thea or mountain thea. Amalthea was a deity or goddess of the mountain who turned into a goat not to be recognized by Cronus, the father of Zeus. Cronus, the father of Zeus, swallowed his children, because a fortune-telling deity had told him that one of his children would overthrow him and become the ruler of gods and men. Zeus' mother, Arete, when Zeus was born, wrapped him up and carried him to Mount Ida in Crete, and gave him a mountain deity called Amalthea. And Cronus brought a stone wrapped around him as if he were a child. Thus Zeus raised Amalthea, and when he became a man he overthrew his father Cronus from the throne. Then it turns out that Zeus sacrificed the goat that fed and raised him to make a shield with her skin. From whom would this shield protect the one who was the god of gods and men? He possessed the most powerful weapon, lightning. His daughter Athena also used Aegis Aegidon. So she too had to be called Agiokoio Athens. Aegis Aegida and Agiokoi have no connection between them. Aegis Aegida was what Zeus or Athena encouraged people with. Aegida means I drove or encouraged, I give her courage, bravery. Agiokoi Dios can be written Hijokoi Dios, which means, he judged knows is, that today it is said he judged with knowledge, wisdom, for the fact that he was a righteous God and judged fairly, with wisdom. If we look at the word crone, crone is derived from kroi, in Albanian it means source, crone means source infinitely. That is why the word crone today has the meaning of time, which as it is known flows infinitely. We look at the Karanos epithet that translates lightning. The word Karanos is you root, because if we look closely the lightning looks like plant root. T is figurative, which means that Zeus with his decisions, actions, root justice in the ranks of the deities and in the human world. We end with this, hoping that you liked it. Goodbye to the other videos.